Welcome to Unshackled 2.0, where we do more than talk, we implement. In a world where we've got all the information we'll ever need to live amazing, healthy lives, most of us never actually change. Life gets in the way. At Unshackled, we learn to implement, to follow through, to get results. We'll study some of the best personal development books ever written, and you'll get guidance from Professor Becca on how to actually achieve the transformation promised. Tune in and finally experience the change you've been dreaming of all along. Hello and welcome back to Unshackled 2.0. We are implementing. We are taking action. We have confidence and we are following through on our dreams. This is us following through on our dreams. Hey, you know what I did today? I put the words personal development in Amazon, clicked search, and I got back over 60,000 results. Over 60,000 books on personal development. Wow. So my thought was, well, wait a minute, let's back up a minute here. That's just on Amazon. So what would happen if we looked on YouTube? What could we find on YouTube for personal development? What about seminars, workshops? What about influencers on social media? What about podcasts on personal development? The possibilities are endless. 60,000, that's nothing. We have access to all the information we'd ever want. If we were having money problems, health problems, if we're having relationship problems, if we're lacking confidence, if any problem you can think of, we have the access to the information. And so it occurs to me, wow, we must live in the healthiest, happiest, richest society that's ever been known. I mean, why wouldn't we? We have the information, and yet I'm sure I don't have to tell you that that's not the case. We're neurotic, we're overweight, we're frightened, we're paralyzed. It's not good, folks. It's not good. So what's the problem? Where's the holdup? What's the missing? What's the disconnect there? What is the disconnect, I ask you? I have the answer, and it is why I'm here. The answer is lack of follow-through. And that is not, I am not judging. That is not, I'm not criticizing anybody. We have the information, but what good is it if we don't follow through on it, right? Now, why don't we follow through? I was talking about this just the other day with you. You already know the answer if you were with me. There's lots of reasons, and I'm telling you, it's not laziness. I'm not here to give you a lecture on being lazy. You know, I think one of the biggest is fear. Talked about fear just yesterday. There's also a lack of confidence. There is some laziness in some people, but I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking to people who actually have an interest in growing, an interest in developing as human beings, and somehow just never get there. The other thing that we have working against us is we have lives. Hey, you've got a family, you've got people to look after, you've got a job to go to, you've got food to cook and this to do, you've got responsibilities. How are you supposed to sit around all day doing personal development? Hello, we might buy the book, we might watch the video, but when do we find the time to implement? It's hard. It is hard. I get that. And I believe that these are the reasons that the disconnect between the information and us following through and actually changing. Actually going, guess what? I bought this book. Look at me. I'm a different person. You know how many people I've had in my, I'm sure you have too. People will say, oh, have you read such and such a book? And and they've read it and they're raving about it, but they're the same person. You don't see any difference in them. You don't see them, different. Don't seem to have grown at all because we don't have the time to follow through. It's partly time, but it's also this. And this is tied to, as you know, I've talked a lot in the past about alcohol. I'm a recovered alcoholic and I know about alcohol. It's also a very similar reason why we can't quit drinking on our own. It's really hard to do anything on our own. If you're sitting alone in a room with a really good personal development book and you're reading it and you say, oh, I'm going to do this. And the writer, the author of the book says, step one, do this, do that for a week and then come back. And step two, I want you to do this for a week and come. How do you follow through on that when your life is happening and there's nobody to talk to about it? Maybe if you're lucky, you can get a friend to read the book at the same time. It's just, that is a recipe for disaster. That's not a lot different than deciding all by yourself, I'm just not going to drink anymore and I'm going to change my life. It's a recipe for failure. So how do we solve this problem? What is the answer? The answer, of course, is each other. We join up with others who are on the same path, others who are reading the same book, and we implement and we report back and we share our struggles, we share our wins, and together we move through the book or move through the process and get the results we want. And that is what Unshackled 2.0 is all about. That is what I do. I take you by the hand. We read the same book together. We go through the book together. I give you the homework because I am, by the way, in case you have forgotten, I'm Professor Becca. I've been a professor for 20 years. I've been teaching students how to read books and how to understand books, how to write about books. And now I'm doing it with personal development books. And that is amazing. And I am inviting you to come on this journey with me. So in the next month, I'm going to have a book, my own book coming out, and it's called Unshackled, and it is going to talk about this very thing. In the book, I talk not only about my journey from a prostitute to a professor, to a coach, but I also talk in there about this. I talk about how we follow through and how we need each other so that we can implement and change. My goal, my mission in life is to take as many people as possible with me on the journey of transformation. Especially if you're mature, if you're in middle life or beyond, like me. The time has come to get that thing that you've always wanted to do, to lose the weight you've always wanted to lose, make the money you've always wanted to make, fix the relationship, whatever it is, what you're doing isn't as important as having the support you need to follow through, having somebody with you on the journey that you can report back to. So you've got the accountability, the motivation, the inspiration. It's all there, and you get to share, you hear other people's stories as well. This is what I'm building, folks. I'm building an institute called Unshackled, where we go together through the personal development process. And we're going to study some of the greatest personal development books ever read. And together, we're going to implement them. The key word here is implementation. Implement, implement, implement. We don't just read the book and talk about the book. This is not a book club. This is like a book club on steroids. We're going to read the book and talk about it, but we're going to implement the book. And I'm inviting you to come along with me on this journey. I'm launching this institute as soon as my book comes out. So in the next month, we'll be launching. And there's space for you to come along, read the book. We're going to start with mine, of course. That'll be the first book we're going to study because you know what? It's a damn good book, if I do say so myself. So you're going to get a copy of it, and you're going together, we're going to read it, and we're going to implement it, and we're going to get change. And from there, we'll go on to the next book. And you know what? Because each book deals with different topics, right? My book is about this. My book is about making up your mind that it's time to get the change in your life that you've always wanted. But there are other books that talk about losing weight, fixing your relationship, financial issues, the big, big questions in our lives. We read the book, we implement, we change. And I am an expert at teaching how to understand and read and implement. That's what I do. It's what I've been doing for over 20 years because I am Professor Becca. All right, folks, I hope this has excited you. I hope that it's got you thinking. I hope that you are ready to implement something new in your life and actually get the results that you've always wanted. You know, if you've always been thinking, if I could just follow through. I don't know about you, but that was me. That was me for a long, long time. Hey, all those years I was drinking, I was reading too. And I read all the best books that came out on personal development, on growth, on how we grow as humans, the power of the subconscious mind. I read them all and none of them helped me. I mean, I learned the stuff, I read it, but I didn't do it. There was no implementation, no follow through. I had no one there with me to help me. And so guess what? I'm going to fill that gap. That's my mission, and I'm here to help you follow through on your dreams as well. Thanks for listening, folks. You'll be hearing more from me on this very soon, like tomorrow. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for popping in. Remember, unshackling happens one day, one moment, one choice at a time. Do me a favor, subscribe, share, and shoot me some feedback. Chat soon.